55.
And researchers say more needs to be done to stop employers forcing women to wear high heels in the workplace. The academics at the University of Aberdeen looked at the physical damage and injury that can be caused, as well as the social and cultural aspects surrounding the wearing of high heels. Rebecca Reed is a freelance journalist. Zoe McNulty runs a School of Strut, Zoe, which is a high-heeled aerobics class. My goodness me, that sounds like a challenge. Rebecca, hi. Do you think there's still a cultural pressure on some women in some workplaces and elsewhere to wear high heels?
Yeah, there's no question that there is. I mean, particularly if you work in hospitality or if you work in admin, there is an expectation that as well as doing your job to a high standard and, presenting nicely, you are expected to look sexy, or if not sexy, then at least presentable. And unfortunately, there is this concept that to look professional as a woman, you still have to be wearing makeup and high heels, despite the fact that high heels, as we've learned, can be very uncomfortable and can be bad for your health.
Zoe, what are the benefits? Well, I mean, do they make you feel good?
Yeah, absolutely. There are some physical benefits, as obviously the physical, the detrimental effects are going to happen over long periods of time if you're wearing your heels for like 8 hours a day. In Strutology, which is the School of Struts dance class with heels, that's we don't have the heels on for long at all. It's just the last 10 minutes of the class. So when you said it's a high heels aerobics class, I cringed a little bit because that would be crazy. It's a dance class, and then we put heels on at the end because it gives you that added kind of zhuzhy feeling. You feel like Beyonce, by the time you've learnt this dance routine, you put your heels on, you're elevated, you as much as your shoulders are pulled back, you feel more confident. The physical benefits of wearing heels are toned calves.
Can I stop you there? You feel more confident. That's absolutely fascinating, Rebecca, isn't it?
Yeah, and I think there's nothing wrong with women wanting to wear high heels. I wear high heels sometimes. The thing is, you have to understand why you feel more confident and why you feel sexier in them.
Why?
And that's because you've been taught that you look better when your legs are longer and your legs look slimmer and your bum looks higher and your legs look more toned. And that's what heels do. They unfortunately also make it harder for you to run away. So it's a mixed blessing.
Run away?
Yeah.
Well, it is. It's a if you're wearing heels, you are more immobilised. You're not as independent. You're not as able to, you can't climb a mountain. You can't leg it down the road. You are sacrificing your mobility, some of your mobility.
You kick your heels off if you need to leg it down the road, don't you?
Yeah, I know, but then that's not. I mean, if you live in London, particularly, it's not a great idea, is it? But broken glass to the Achilles heel.
Well, if you're legging it, you're legging it. That's the thing. That's an interesting angle. You can't leg it down the road. It's there. You can't escape, Zoe.
Yeah, it's a very good point.
Whether it be running for the bus or whatever.
I would hope in my classes that they don't need to escape. But yeah, that is a very good point.
But I did that thing you say about attitude, and I did notice. I looked at a couple of the videos of your classes. There is a definite attitude change, and you're quite right to examine why that's the case. But when women put on their heels, and what I loved about your classes is we're talking about women's of all kinds of abilities, all kinds of sizes, but they're doing these kind of, funky dances with these heels on, and they look great.
Exactly. And you know what? I've had some amazing responses from people who've, say, even just done one class. One lady had been saving for years and years and years for a tummy tuck because she'd had her children years before. She couldn't afford it, but she saved. She saved diligently. She did one class with me. She realised how hot she is, just as she is, and she cancelled the tummy tuck. That for me is pretty powerful as an instructor. Also, it helps women feel sexy, and whatever the reason for that, I'd say that's a good thing. One lady,
I think they look quite powerful, and Rebecca, I think that's what I was kind of slightly won over by. But I guess you would say maybe there are other ways to encourage that sense of empowerment.
I think it's about context. I have no issue with a woman wanting to feel sexy or powerful whenever she wants, and particularly when it's a night out or like this class, which is about feeling good. The difference is, when it's work, you shouldn't be obliged to to look sexy. This is not about looking sexy.
Thank you both very much indeed. Just looking at some photographs of Slade from the 70s with those impossibly high heels. I have a campaign.
They'd have had trouble running, wouldn't they?
I have a campaign. Run, Run Away was one of their songs. A campaign to get them at Glastonbury in 2 years' time.